So look at me. I am becoming so self-sufficient living in Europe. I've been making my breakfast almost every single day here, which generally consists of scrambled eggs with some cheese on toast, and I'm really enjoying, to be honest, this change of pace and the life. You know, it is such a luxury in Bali that there I wake up and I have ibu memi already in the home, my coffee already brewing, and the house cleaned 6 days a week. But on the other hand, there's something really charming and nice as well about just waking up in your home and not having anybody else there, like in your space, in your face, first thing in the morning. Because I can make my own coffee. It's not a big deal. I am still looking for a cleaning lady, at least to come like once a week just to do a deep clean of the apartment. But I'm really finding it's not difficult to revert to being self-sufficient. Also because here in Europe, or in the West in general, we're aided by a lot more machines than you have access to in a place like Bali. For example, the fact that here in my apartment, I have a washing machine, I have a dryer, I have a dishwasher. Like, these things make household chores obviously much more simple, whereas I didn't have any of those things in Bali. And of course, to compare just like how exhausting the weather is in Bali and how enjoyable it is to kind of walk around here. I think I grocery shop almost every single day, actually. Like, I just go to the little market here in my neighborhood and pick up the essentials, and it's just charming. Like, I'm really enjoying my life here so far. It's been 3 weeks. I think at least 3 weeks since I've been back in my apartment. I've been back in Lisbon, and I just am really having such a nice life here so far. It's exactly what I moved here for, exactly what I was hoping, and the weather has just been so nice. And I really feel like this is where I've belonged. It's almost that I wish I had moved sooner, though not really, because I think that the experiences that I had, I needed to have in Bali, or in Asia in general. But I don't know, I'm really happy, to be honest. And things are moving along for me socially really nicely. I've been meeting a lot of people. I have a friend from France who introduced me to a French girl here, and then she introduced me to a bunch of her friends. And so I found myself like in this French group, which for me is great because French is my second language, and to be honest, I feel more French than American anyway. And on that subject is something quite interesting. I joined this members-only group called the 1000 Club, and the mission is to bring together bring together 500 Portuguese people and 500 foreigners living in Lisbon to kind of bridge the gap in these communities, because the Portuguese people have a reputation to kind of being, a little bit shy, and like they stay in their groups. Obviously, they already have their lives here, they have their friends, their families, so they're not as outgoing. And same with expats, they kind of also tend to stay within their groups of people. Anyway, so I went to a couple of these events organized by the club last week. And it was interesting because the first night that I went to something, it was like a dinner, and I was next to this American girl who was really sweet and cool. And I just realized, like, in the 5 or 6 years since I left the United States, I hardly ever come across Americans in the places that I've been living, and I think I've just been also consciously choosing not to socialize with Americans. And then the same thing happened the next night, that there was this party that was organized by the group, and then all of a sudden there were like 3 or 4 American ladies, like of a certain age, that were older than me, that came and wanted to talk and be my friend. And I just was like to myself, this isn't why I left the United States. First of all, as I said, I don't really feel very American in my spirit. And it's just not interesting for me to be amongst people like of a single community like that. Living in Europe, I really want to prioritize meeting Portuguese people, meeting Brazilians. I love French people in general, like just people that are outside of, obviously, the culture that I grew up in. And so I kind of find myself like not really wanting to invest in those types of friendships, because I just don't want to get stuck in a bubble like that. And also, I am learning Portuguese, and Obviously, it's just more useful for me if I'm forced to speak Portuguese, which is often not the case here in Lisbon because, you know, English is so widely spoken, and I actually find myself speaking a lot of French, again, with my friend group, and then the fact that in my neighborhood here of Príncipe Real, you almost hear more French spoken than Portuguese walking down the street. There are so many French people in this neighborhood. For me, I love that, but it is kind of a, it is kind of a little unique situation here in this neighborhood. And yeah, so other than that though, I have been meeting several men in different types of romantic or sexual encounters, and also that is something that was a priority for me living in Europe, obviously, that, you know, I wanted to get away from the kind of sexual regression in Indonesia, that it's obviously a society that is not super friendly to gay people. And, you know, here in Europe, I feel like I can live openly, and the kinds of people that I meet tend to be much more interesting anyway. So all of those things have been really good. And then also just in terms of my free time, things I've been doing here, you know, I haven't necessarily found like good activities to occupy me. Like I've just been shopping a lot. I go to the gym, walking around, but I'm gonna need to find something beyond that, just beyond spending money basically and working on my body. So in that regard, I may join the tennis club eventually. I also checked out this a different members only club that's kind of like the Soho House of Lisbon called Nino, that has this gorgeous palace and a really pretty pool, but it's quite expensive and it doesn't actually necessarily seem worth it for what it offers, because I know that I'm not such an outgoing extroverted person that just by sitting by the pool I'm going to strike up a conversation with someone. And I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. I mean, they said like I'm approved, that if I want, you know, I can join, but still the verdict is out. We'll see. And let's see what else the day has in store for us. So I just got a last minute appointment to get my hair colored. You know, I've been going through this internal debate for a little while, deciding, am I gonna just let my gray hair grow out? Because even though I am still relatively young, I started getting gray hair very, very early. And at this point, I feel like my hair is probably like 30% gray. And so for the last couple months, I've just been letting it grow. And then kind of yesterday, something changed and I thought, I don't want to look like a grandpa at my age. So I'm going to get my hair colored, and now I'm just getting dressed. And I'm wearing an outfit that I just bought yesterday from this Portuguese brand called Isto. And I've talked about them before. I actually made a video about different Portuguese brands that I love. And this is one of them. They're this really classic menswear brand that's made here locally in Portugal, and I'm all about supporting local, you know, buying things that are made locally. And you can just tell, like, you know, for example, these chino pants, the cotton is really soft, really nice and kind of like a thick quality, but perfect for springtime. And then I also just bought this very classic and basic t-shirt because I like the color, I like the cotton, and my style is a little bit changing. I would say, especially with the move to Europe and maybe also getting a bit older, that I just want to dress more classic, things that are not trendy, and also just maybe like a little bit more, I don't know, adult or relaxed or whatever the case may be. These pants are interesting, like it's the smallest size, and I realized that in order for them to fit properly, I need to wear them with a belt so they sit high on the waist, and then they actually look really nice. So I'm kind of embracing my new European vibe and attitude, and I'm gonna head out in about 10 minutes to go and get my hair colored with a very cool girl named Ines, who also did my color and a cut when I was here in the winter time.
start. So more or less what we did that time.
I mean, just as close as you can get it to my natural
To
color.
natural.
Well, I'm really happy with how my hair turned out. I kind of feel like back to myself, you know? I just am not ready for all of that gray. Anyway, it's around 2 o'clock now. I think that I'm gonna go and head to the gym for a workout. It's kind of been my routine every other day, going to the gym. I joined a new one since the last time I was here. This one is called Holmes Place, and it's supposed to be the best gym in Lisbon. They have actually several locations throughout Lisbon and even more across Portugal. And they actually have like a steam room, a jacuzzi, a sauna, all that, which I don't use there. But I want to go get a workout in, come back, have some lunch, and maybe do some shopping. So let's see what the rest of the day has in store. Not going to bring the camera to the gym because I am not ready for that level of bullshit of like bringing the Bali kind of wannabe influencer vibe into the gym. As a side note, when you work out in Bali in the gym, like every single person, or at least maybe every other person, has their smartphone set up to film themselves working out for their Instagram feeds or all this stuff. And it's so cringy. I don't want to be that person. So you guys don't want to see me work out anyway. I'll see you when I get back. I just got back from the gym. I'm gonna quickly make myself a protein smoothie. I have to do some errands. And then I think that I'm going to meet a boy. It's a little bit of a complicated story, let me tell you. So when I was here in the wintertime, in the last few days that I was here, I met a guy, very, very handsome. You may see him and you may not. And we had what I thought was a very cute little romantic story. But I think that I might be a bit delusional because with some distance and looking at it, I think that this guy was just hanging around me for my money and my lifestyle and was maybe looking for like a sugar daddy kind of situation. It's a bit complicated. I don't want to get too much into details because it's kind of embarrassing for me that I allowed myself to even be into this kind of situation. But regardless, I've been running into him the last couple of days because we work out at the same gym. And I don't know if I'm like a masochist or something because I asked him what he's doing after his workout and I've invited him to come and hang out with me. However, I'm not so stupid this time that I would allow myself to continue to be taken advantage of. Like, I proposed that we can go for a walk in the park. I'm not paying for anything for him. I'm not going to give him anything, buy him anything. Like, if he legitimately actually wants to be my friend, like he says, then he'll have to be my friend without benefits if he's not giving me the benefits that I wanted from our whatever we had, whatever you want to call it. So also the thing is, I just, he's sort of a nice guy if he's not actually like a sociopath. And, he's Brazilian and I do want to practice my Portuguese like with a Brazilian. So maybe I can use him at least to get some free conversation lessons at the very least. But I mean, you'll see if I show you, which now I'm not even sure I should because I've like just spoken all of this stuff about him, but he's a very, very handsome guy. But I don't know, this is a situation that with time I'm just really having to be aware of, especially, when I was in Indonesia or really anywhere. Like, I feel that a lot of times, I'm in a situation where I earn more money than like guys my age or obviously younger. And even though I'm not old, I feel like that puts me in a very weird kind of situation, and expectations about who should be paying for things or whatever. Again, like when it's two men, it's not like there's very clearly defined gender roles about who's supposed to do what, who's supposed to pay for what. And I don't want to be in that situation. Like, I definitely don't want to. I mean, okay, it's one thing like if you're in a relationship with someone and they bring something else to the table, but I definitely don't want to be taken advantage of. So that's what I'm looking out for these days, are people who are trying to take advantage of my generosity, my my niceness, Anyway, all right, I gotta hurry up, make my protein smoothie, run some errands, and then maybe take this walk in the park.
Quando o sol se pôs, pensei em nós dois. Foi a alma que morreu. Tudo escureceu bem ao meio-dia.
So our little walk in the park turned into dinner, and I feel good about having this guy as a friend. It was really nice because we spoke only in Portuguese, which for me was definitely a challenge. I've been studying for about 6 months, mostly with Duolingo, and for some reason Duolingo has given me a false sense of being better at Portuguese than I actually am, and you know, it became apparent in conversation that I was really searching for words. I get mixed up often, you know, wanting to almost speak Spanish because that is just coming much more naturally to me. Anyway, it was nice. We had dinner. He paid for his own meal, so I don't feel used, which is really kind of what I was avoiding in general, like what I wanted to make sure was not gonna happen. So, that being said, it was a nice afternoon, and now I'm kind of just like resting a little bit. It's funny because it's, I think, 8:30 now. Yeah, it's almost 8:30, so this is the time that if I were in Bali, I would probably already have finished dinner and would be in my bed, like starting to watch movies or series or whatever, like pretty much done for the evening. But here it's still light out. You know, the sun is not going to set for another hour, so I kind of feel weird, you know, not taking advantage of the fact that it's still sunlight, but I don't really have anything to do. It's a Wednesday. I think it's a Wednesday night tonight. And I don't have any other plans, so I'm just sort of, I don't know, relaxing. And I think that's it. You know, my day was nothing special, but not every day necessarily in one's life is. And it was nice just to share this day with you and bring the camera along on my little adventures of the day, and that's it. So as always, guys, thank you for watching this video. Until the next time, take care, and I'll see you later.
Quem